Hey, how's everyone doing there tonight? This is Undead Nightmare 24, back with a video. Hope everyone's doing well, staying safe out there. This is going to be a slasher review for Joe the Horror Man Slashback Saturday. Want to send a shout out to Joe the Horror Man. Please subscribe to him if you haven't. Awesome channel. And this challenge is fun every week. The topic for this Saturday is going to be a slasher, pretty much a wild card slasher, meaning we had the option to pick a slasher pretty much of anything as long as it had meaning to it. So the slasher I picked, it's going to be for a first time slasher. It's going to be 1980s Nightmares. This is an Australian slasher film. It's a Ozploitation film as well. And it's directed by John D. Lamon. He also directed several erotic films throughout the 70s. It stars Jenny Newman. She also starred in Hell Night with Linda Blair. It stars Gary Sweet and Max Phibbs. Okay, let's get into this film, as this one was a pretty entertaining but strange one. So let's get into the plot of it. It's basically about this girl Helen. In about 1963, she's a little girl. She experiences some pretty much, how could I put it, sexual trauma through her mom who sleeps with men. She pretty much catches her mom in sexual acts with men, and it pretty much traumatizes her as a little girl. And this leads to her in a car with her mom, while a man's pretty much all over her mom, and she's seen this, and she pretty much as a little girl thinks they're hurting her mom, so she kind of grabs the mom and him to cut it out, and pretty much causes a car accident, and her mom ends up dying in a pretty brutal way. So this leaves a long time mental effect on her, and it fast forwards back to when she present day, where she's an adult now. She's a very attractive woman, but she has a like sexual frustration due to all this trauma from her childhood, and she's now older and wanting to pursue acting. So she's in this kind of theater, and she's auditioning for theater and acting. And as she's doing this, she meets a guy named Terry. He's very into her, and she's into him. They have a love interest there, but she's sexually frustrated because of everything that's happened in her life. So she pretty much holds out on him, and she's having these visions throughout of like her mom getting taken advantage of these guys, and it messes with her. She's having nightmares and daydreams of all this stuff, and as everything goes on, you start to on this audition, you have several actors and actresses that are going on this play, and as they're doing this, not play but theater, this acting on stage, they're pretty much getting picked off one by one. And as they're getting picked off, Helen is having these visions of these kills. It's pretty strange. It's like, is she doing it or someone else? What is it? Um, and as these ones are getting picked off pretty in a pretty brutal way, and as it goes throughout the film, it's gonna wonder, is she the killer or someone else? All this trauma has it caught up to her, and she's just pretty much losing her mind, or is it really happening? Because these nightmares are coming to life and kills. And there's a scene in here with which she goes into her apartment, and it has her talking in two different voices. Sounds like an older lady than a younger one, which gave me Psycho vibes. I think that was homage to Psycho, an inspiration from this director. So and throughout the film, you also hear Psycho and Friday the 13th score kind of mixed in there. So I think they had influences on this director as well. Um, Also, there's a unique weapon that this killer uses, which I hadn't seen, which is pretty cool. She breaks glass. It'll be a bottle, a mirror, anything, and that she pulls the glass off, and that's, you can see there, that's pretty much like a weaponry carried in there. Um, Also, unique with the killer is its POV vision throughout the film. You never actually see the killer; it's just through a POV perspective where she's murdering, and pretty much this killer is how can I say it? Anytime a sexual act or some kind of sexual act takes place, they're pretty much murdered throughout this film. So that's how it takes place there. Yeah, so overall I'm going to say the story was pretty predictable. You can see the killer coming. There's no real twist to it. It was kind of let down for me. But the pluses were the kills. I really liked the kills. They were gory. And this is a very sleazy film. It has that sleazy kind of you see in Italian horror films to it, which is It's pretty sleazy and an entertaining slasher as well. Um, Overall, I did enjoy this film. The killer look is decent. Wish it had a mask or more to it. The I like the unique weapon, like I said, with the broken glass being slashed, and the setting's pretty nice too, in like a theater setting, which I enjoyed. Like I said, my letdown was the story. It pretty much was pretty predictable. Had not really a twist in it. It was a letdown, and will bring my rating down. As you could see, I'm going to give this a 3.5 out of 5. This could have been a 4 or a 4.5 if it had a better storyline and more of a twist to it. So that was my letdown, and that's why I dropped down to a 3.5 out of 5. Overall, I would recommend this film to give it a watch. It's not bad. It could have been better, but I enjoyed it overall. I would watch it again, but it's not one of my favorites. It's not going to be like, it got really entertained me, but it did have its moments. So overall, 3.5 out of 5 I think is fair, and I would recommend giving it a watch. So this is going to be 1980s Nightmares. Want to send a shout out again to Joe the Horror Man. I hope everyone's doing well out there and staying safe. Happy Slashback Saturday. This is Undead Nightmare 24 back with a video. Keep it horror. Peace.
Nightmares, the screams of terror in the night are silenced only by a sharp sliver of glass. Watch closely now, but don't dare look behind you. Just feel the skin crawl on the back of your neck. Something is lurking in the theater, and all the doors are barred, so there is no way out but down. Nightmare.